Peace, family. This is your brother Hindawa. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about the Green Sahara, the Lake Chad region, and its relationship to the Nile Valley civilization. There's a lot of talk about the migration from east to west, but there's a lot of evidence that proves that there was a lot of movement from west to east as well. What you're looking at is rock art from the Sahara Desert. These are so-called Libyan people whose culture goes back to what is called the Green Sahara, when the Sahara Desert was actually a lush greenland. So what's interesting is you see the single ostrich feather and the double-breasted breastplate that the archer is wearing. These are all cultures and customs that you'll see in Kemet as well. These are interesting things that I don't see many scholars talking about. The relationship, with the, between these Libyans and these people of Kemet. When you really look at things, this was, the type of stories where you have a struggle, for these kingdoms and, to control this empire. And it's all there in front of us. And I just wanted to get into a little bit of that. So let's jump right in. When you take the map of the Greek historian Herodotus and flip it and have it just turn, where Libya turned south, according to this ancient map, everything west of the Nile is considered Libya. This takes me back to when Mummy Zobey said that the Sibyls comes from Libya. These magical sorcerer women and goddesses come from this place, Libya. If you take an even closer look, you even have Atlas on the west coast of, the northwest coast of Africa. According to the Greeks, Egypt was influenced by Atlantis, and I just find it interesting that, Atlantis is mapped in West Africa. And I'm not gonna try and, put place every, tribe or language group in Kemet, Egypt. But I'm just showing that there is some relation, there is a correlation, there is culture continuity, and there's definitely a migration from west to east. I'm pretty sure people moved from east to west as well. You have the Bantu migration. Lake Chad was 3-4 times the size that it is today. So all of this, climate change, forced a lot of groups out of where they are. The Bantu migration didn't start in just Cameroon. It was a whole, it went across the continent. This affected the whole continent, to where people moved up into Europe and even, up into the Jerusalem, Mesopotamian area and off of it into Asia. This forced a lot of migrations. If anybody's familiar with the Tuareg was a part of the Malian Empire. And if you dig deep into their language, it's going to take you back to the Tamahu, the Libyan people who, these writings from Egypt, testified about these Tamahu. And I've always thought they were Phoenicians or Europeans, but apparently, these people were, Berber Libyans. Now, please don't get the impression of the Arabized Berbers of today, but I'm talking about the, ancient people of the Sahara Desert. There were many, many kingdoms before this dynasty era, and these kingdoms were basically mythological, they say, quote unquote. But they don't give these kings, no credit, even though their names are there. They're clear names. You can see they're readable, but they're never discussed. They're almost secret. So there's things to be looked at, when it comes to, this discussion. Lake Chad is a vast territory, and I'm pretty sure there was trade, there was all type of things going on, and as this started to dry up along with other sections, and even, the relation with the Niger River, it's all has to play some type of significance in this stuff. Berbers have been going over into Europe for so long, bringing back and forth, settling even. They've been, they've turned light skinned, but you also have a mixed population of Berber tribes, Berber populations that all went under the umbrella of Libyans. But here also you have a Libyan. You can see the afro, remnants of a beard that he once had. But these people had the same cultures. Contrary to what people may think, blonde hair, blue eyes, and light skin didn't start in Europe. Here you can see the gene that made blue eyes popular in Europe originated 6 to 10,000 years ago around the Black Sea. Now, if and when the Berbers broke from Afro-Asiatic languages, I don't know. I'm just trying to show a relation from west to east. You know, how West Africans were also coming to East Africa from a very early time. And you can see, the remnants of the culture still in the people who live in these regions today, these descendants. If you go into the Tuareg, these are very important people because they've been in these desert regions for eons. So, the single feather of Ma'at can be seen in the Sahara before they say it popped up in Egypt, along with a lot of other customs and even deities. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know the truth. I'm just going to present the information. Here we have Lake Chad. Lake Chad was 4, 5, maybe 6 times larger than it is today. I've always felt that West Africa had contributions in the East as well. Lake Chad was very important. Lake Chad is also a home of some of the Afro-Asiatic speaking groups. Some of these groups even ended up down in Liberia. So when we look at this Lake Chad region, it's a very, very important region. This is the region I believe the Bantu migration started. The Bantu migration were primarily Niger-Congo speaking people. We're really not talking about the Niger-Congo speaking people, but just if the Zulus and a lot of these South African tribes are Bantu, which is related to the Niger-speaking groups, then that has to mean that these Niger-Congo-speaking groups have some type of interaction or some type of, something to do with these people, whether it was trading, whether it was, the people further west. I would say we were, from the what we call the Niger River civilization. So we didn't need to travel too far. You know what I mean? Whether it was trade relations or anything of that nature, so be it. But the people over in these desert oasis type of regions, they need the water, especially when these places started to dry up. So this Chadic region is very, very important because here you can see every peoples. You know what I'm saying? But here there was a very important trade territory as well. You had the people coming from the Nile on the east. You had the people coming from West Africa on the west. The Berbers on the north, and tribal groups coming from the south. You had the Congo, but it was a very, very important territory. Once this territory started to dry, this had to have devastated this region and regions around. And we really, really don't talk enough about this region and what happened in this region. And I just think that some of our brilliant scholars, you know what I'm saying, I would love to hear what they would have to say about a lot of this. This information comes from the Tamahu website, and they're leaning heavily on the Libyan side of things, telling, I guess, the Libyan story, which is good, but there's other Africans that were in this area as well, and we can't just call Libya, ancient Libya, because we start to think of Libya today and the people of Libya today. So we have to be careful in that because, like I said, you have Niger-Congo people, the Nilo, you have different language groups, and all of these people are still present. the ancestors are the descendants of these people are still in these regions. So we have to be very careful on, when you hear these. I know we get turned off by hearing, Libyan and all of this type of stuff, but these were Africans. Some were light, some were dark. These people were not only the custodians of the Sahara Desert, but they also were the custodians of, the Mediterranean. So these people from a very, very early time, they had relations with Europeans. They had relations with, the Middle Easterners. You see what I'm saying? So we can't shun the history of these people. These were Africans, and you best believe that some of our ancestors were in their ranks. In fact, there's so much so-called Libyan culture, or what I like to call West African culture, that ended up in Kemet, that we'll probably be making a part 2 of this video. I mean, the evidence is just so compelling, and I don't want to talk you guys' ears off. So I'll see you on the next one. Peace.